Y'all, it is September. September. Wow, way off. It's Saturday though. That's a totally different word. Saturday evening, January the 18th, 2020. We're here. I thought I would come on here live, spontaneous. Like, I actually only decided maybe 5 minutes ago that I was gonna go on live. All right, that's how spontaneous that it is. Before then, I had no idea. All right, but I thought I would do it. How did this come to be on a Saturday evening? Well, I've been having an interesting Saturday evening thus far. Hold on, I'm gonna get a drink real quick. I'm back. I got a drink. All right. For example, just earlier, right before I decided to go on live, see if anybody else would be straggling around on the internet, still on YouTube. I can't even imagine that people are still on YouTube, but maybe there's some stragglers. And this is for them out there. Actually, I see this one person up in the building, and I appreciate you. I can't even believe it, right? I don't know if I've been on a week hiatus or how long it's been, really. But earlier this evening, I was actually jamming out with a friend, co-worker. You might say jamming out, like what kind of balling out type of lifestyle are you living? And I would like to just say that you could do it too, right? You could easily jam out and become like a rock superstar in your living room and stuff with your friends, right? You might say, oh, it's hard. It's not hard, right? You just got to live it sometimes. You got to let it come out, all right? Michael Jackson said it, for whatever it's worth. Lil Wayne said it. Everybody said it. Got to let it just come out, all right? It's creative juices, it pours from you. I know there's a lot of people who know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of my friends here on YouTube know exactly what I'm talking about. That's we got 2 people up in the building. I can't even believe it, all right? It shocks the crap out of me. I was honestly like willing and able to do a live stream. First of all, this live stream doesn't have much direction. I do have a story to tell you, and I'm going to start off with that. Obviously, it's been a hiatus, but it's going to go all willy nilly because, like I said, just decided to come on, right? So I'm definitely open for suggestions. Let's just put it like that, right? But I was doing a little bit of jamming out with a friend. Creative juices coming out. It's a good thing to do on a Saturday evening. No alcohol involved. We did go to Red Robin actually beforehand. That might seem all sort of gay, all right? But it isn't the way that we did it. I did eat a salad, all right? Don't judge me, but we're about to... You're especially going to understand why I ate a salad because of this story I'm about to tell you. So the only thing I knew that I was going to do on this broadcast was tell you this story. I don't know if you're ready for it. I don't know who's up in the comments and everything, who's up in the building. If you're ready for it, maybe you're not prepared. Maybe you're in the restroom. Maybe you're in the kitchen finishing up. So I don't want to jump the gun. Shout me out in the comments, depending on what you want. Because either I could start off on the story right now. Obviously, I could tell you the story right now. All right, it's pretty important about the little hiatus that I took pretty much from the whole internet. For about a week and stuff. I could tell you about it right now. Or, we could do like we do on a lot of broadcasts and start off with some just world-class quality music. Like I said, I was just jamming out, so I'm still in that vibe. It's like, nah, we could, if we wanted to, we could start off with a nice song while everybody gets settled in and stuff. I don't know what direction we might take it as far as world-class covers and stuff, man, to get us in the vibe, all right? I know we got a little bit of time to kill, all right? I don't know what people would like to do first. So I guess what we're going to do is a little bit of both at the same time, simultaneously. I don't know what this is, all right? We might get into that later. But I wanted to go on YouTube, and I think my phone is tripping right now. How in the world is 3 people on the internet, couldn't tell you, on YouTube on a Saturday evening, all right? I'm not judging you, obviously, because I'm here on Saturday evening, and I'm always here pretty much by myself. And it's not a problem with that. Like I'm not tripping off that. I just did have a friend over, and we just were jamming out. It's getting kind of later, right? And so I'm just chilling by myself. And there's people on the internet on the other side of the screen, and they're chilling as well. And it blows my mind that they came to join me, and I appreciate y'all out there. You don't even understand. I know you can't comment all the time. And, some people might be eager and stuff. They might really want to hear the story. Um, that's cool. And I want to tell a story, and I'm about to, about, why I've been away for these number of days. And some people might actually guess because it was a reoccurring problem. I always wonder about certain bands and if anybody's doing covers to them currently in current time, right? Different various bands, just the most random I can think of, like right now, I just thought of Bush. Anybody remember that band Bush? They've actually put out some things pretty recently. Over the past couple of years, I know that they've dropped something recently and stuff, and I remember listening to it, and it was really good. It's really good. All right, but they don't sell like they used to. They're not as popular as they used to be at a certain point in time, like late 90s, I guess, probably late 90s. It's the Bush era. See if anybody did covers. All right, for those people who don't know my methods out there, a good way to do it is, like, of course you're going to find Bush covers, right? If you put Bush covers, hopefully that's not like a product and it would be a cover of a Bush song. All right, I don't want to find any actual Bush covers to cover my bushes, although those things do exist. When it freezes at night, you put a cover over your bushes so they don't die. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a Bush cover, and so you're going to find probably people doing covers. See right there, an awesome cover of Come Down by Bush. That was done 3 years ago. Got 5.6 thousand views, which honestly in the scheme of things isn't very much, and I'm sure that they deserve more. But that was 3 years ago, and that's a fair amount of views, all right? I'm sure we could play it, and we might play it. It's an awesome version of Come Down. But what I like to see especially is like, okay, Bush, that's a certain era of music. Is anybody still doing those covers today? Are there millennials out there doing these covers today? And if so, is that going to blow my mind? Typically it does. Like, look at this. See what I'm looking at right here? We might not play it because probably get us copyright banned. Lord knows, YouTube keeps sending me all sort of messages about different various incremental things that they're doing to whatever copyright infringement and stuff. So Lord knows they want to get me on that. Glycerine, done by this lady, Sarah Cawthorn, probably a world-class performance. We can't play it because there's too many views. That's what's terrible. And lots of times we'll find different songs, like they'll be recently done, that don't have any views. That just have like no views and yet are amazing. Like, for example, this guy, he did Bush, a cover of Little Things. Maybe it's terrible. There's no way to know. There's no way to know. It has 37 views. So those who are judgmental would be like, oh yeah, this is going to be garbage. This is going to be nothing. It's a nothing burger. That's not necessarily true. That's not typically the case, actually. People get the nerve enough to actually put their song on the internet. It's probably good. So we're going to check it out. And then after that, I got a story to tell you. Alright, so buckle up. We're about to get into it. It's January the 18th, y'all. 2020. Jamming out. I hope y'all can hear this. I would assume that you could. That's deep, and I think. Sorry if I cut that out off on y'all. I don't know a way to. I need to like kind of fade it out. That was a deep. I think it was an appropriate installment. And I thought it was pretty good. It was definitely pretty interesting. All right, it was worth a listen to. I also wanted to see this guy. I saw this guy right here. Let's get a taste of this before we get on with the story right quick.
Must be your skin that I'm sinking in. Must be for real, cause now I can feel I didn't mind. It's not my kind, it's not my time to wonder why everything's gone white and everything's gray. Now you're here, now you're away. I don't want the days go by. Glycerine,
Oh, you crazy guy.
glycerine. We live in a wheel where everyone steals, but when we rise, it's like strawberry fields. If I treated you bad, you'd go by. Could have been easier on you. I couldn't change, though I wanted to. Glycerine, glycerine. Don't let the days go by. What again? And she falls around me. I needed you more, you wanted us less. I couldn't want one of my names. Don't let the days go by. Could have been easier on you, Glycerine, glycerine.
Skibidi-doom, 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 as we fade out, you guys, I realize and I know full and well that the connection's been going in and out, and I see that. I enjoyed that song. It was awesome. Done by, what's his name? Graham Anthem Band, right? Here on YouTube exclusively 1 week ago. 95 views. You know, you're getting a world exclusive, obviously. And, you know, that song especially, all the songs basically, but that song brings back memories for me, my childhood, stuff like that coming up. Came up on all sort of music, all sort of different types of music, and you did too probably from where you're at. All these other different types of music, and sometimes, you know, it probably intertwines. I don't know how many people out there that remember Bush and that whole deal. But, you know, all just a world of different, just all these cultures smashing together in the musical realm and just creating a soundtrack to our lives, obviously. So, you know, I guess now that we're done playing a song, the connection will be a little bit stronger. At least I hope. I really don't know still as far as YouTube goes. Can't wait to get off YouTube, to be honest. And I you know, like, I see that there's people here, and I appreciate it all so much. Especially for tonight. More so than any other night. Right, because, you know, it could be the last time I even want to do it as far as live stream on YouTube. It's kind of like weak. Obviously, I can't even put my dang face on the dang thing because that'll, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of weak. And I've done successfully things on D Live, obviously, and so I should expand on that. And that's what I set out to do, probably, especially coming this next week. Now, I've been on a hiatus. I don't know what is that you should look at right now. You know, I don't think I have pictures of me, all right? So, like, this story that I'm about to tell obviously is a story of me. So, you know, it could help to actually see my face, like if I was saying it, or at least pictures of me. But I don't really necessarily have those, I guess. So what we're going to do, here's what we're going to do. And this might not take, all right? We might do this every single time from now on out. But we'll just slide through some screenshots. The story that I'm telling you has nothing to do with the screenshots that are on the screen. All right, feel free to not even look at the screen because it has nothing to do with the story. But it's just some screenshots that I have on my thing, and you might be interested. It's like kind of like two things at one time, I guess. All right, so the story is a lot of people might know I was suffering, and this might be widely popular. A lot of people probably know about something similar, maybe have experienced something similar. It's had what's called kidney stones, and you get those certain kind of ways. For those people who's familiar, you might have heard, oh yeah, you were probably drinking all sort of soda pops. You were probably drinking all sort of soda pops and you were asking for it and stuff, and that's how you got them. Like, people, obviously, who don't know what you eat and drink all day, all right? They're going to assume you drink soda pops all day, and that's how you got them kidney stones. Awkwardly enough, if I'm going to tell the whole story, and I think it might be educational to somebody in some point in time, right? So I'm going to share a story about my kidney stones. It had nothing to do with soda pops. In fact, there have been times in my life when I drank soda pops like you wouldn't believe, right? Connoisseur of soda pops, for sure. And I mean it, like, especially getting my older age, I guess. Definitely a connoisseur. Like, I don't want cheap, just Coca-Colas or something like that. That's unfortunate, and it's just like it's beneath me. I don't want to sound snobbish, but like, dude, I go for high class soda pops, right? If I do, and I don't hardly, not unless I'm just desperate for that, that feeling that everybody knows that you get with that soda pop, right? If I'm doing it like that, I'm feeling for that. For example, I live in South Central Texas. I will get a Mexican Coke every time, and it's usually available, right? But, typically I've been drinking maybe tops like 2 soda pops a week. Just to give you an example. Had nothing to do with soda pops. Alright? So, come to find out, and all this stuff can actually be, it could be researched. Like, we're not going to do it right now, but for example, if you were to go to Google and you type in, like, what are some things that can give me kidney stones? Because, that's the thing about Google. You might not trust Google, but everybody's asked Google every question that exists about every sort of combination, especially about health incidents or whatever. You can ask them questions. So you ask Google, hey, kidney stones, how could I have maybe gotten kidney stones? And you could cross-reference this right now. Stuff that, like, someone like me would never really consider were vegetables. They mentioned a whole bunch of different vegetables that could have probably given you kidney stones. To include, in my case, beets, which I was eating, there's a story behind that. Basically, I had a little bit of money for food. I only bought certain kind of foods that week. And I had to stick to those kind of foods no matter what, because that's all the money that I had for food, right? So I went to the farmer's market. I got all these vegetables, pretty dang good price, all right? But that's what I was eating for the week. And I was staying tuned. I was like, man, to eat these vegetables regardless. I don't have any money to be buying foods and stuff. So I'm eating these vegetables, and then, it starts to incur this kidney problem, right? And feel like a bad pain in your lower back, either on one side or the other, your left or your right side, lower back. And it struck me typically while I was sleeping. It would wake me up, and I'd be like, oh, okay, a bad feeling in my lower back. Ah, this feels bad. And then, a few minutes later, I'd be like, oh yeah, this feels just real bad, real bad. And it would get gradually worse and worse until you're rolling on the ground and stuff like that. And a lot of people experience this before. Actually, I've seen the comments. I wonder if anyone out there, good afternoon, Gerard. Hey, you can call me Geraldo if you want, because of Mexico and everything like that. But, good afternoon. It's pretty cool. Hey, I hope everything is looking good up in Tasmania. To be quite honest, over the past few days, because of the story that I'm telling, I've lost track of what's going on in Australia. So I know that you're going to know more than anyone else. You're going to know behind the scenes if you have any time. If you can, if YouTube's not going to censor us off, then you could maybe give us some of that behind the scenes word about Australia. And is there any credibility to the idea that perhaps Chinese elements who wish to buy up land for very cheap in Australia would possibly hire Muslim radicals to set brush fires and get caught for doing it all across Australia by the dozens? Or is that something that I just made up? And maybe it is. You see, this is some wild stuff on the screen. I don't know how many people are looking at the screen, but okay. So I was developing kidney stones, right? And it became a problem. And I had probably already mentioned this before in some live streams. And it became a real big problem. What they were doing was attacking. And I know a lot of people who experience this where they attack you. The pain becomes just pretty much unbearable. As a guy who doesn't have so much money, I'm sure a lot of people have thought about going to the hospital and talked themselves out of it and said, look, I don't have any money to go to the hospital. Like, I don't need this bill on top of everything. So you talk yourself out of going to the hospital. All right. Thing is with a kidney stone, and you already know if you've had these things, you're not going to get out of going to the hospital. You might as well go to the hospital immediately and get you some antibiotics as quick as you can. Because, it's interesting. There's a lot of details to it, but basically your kidney becomes inflamed, all right, and basically blows up and stuff. It's inflamed in your body. You need to take swelling down and the inflammation down. You need some antibiotics, amongst other things. You're going to need some serious painkillers. There's certain painkillers that just will not do anything. There's one called tramadol. Don't ever take it for any reason. There's no point in taking it. It'll do nothing. And then there's other things that'll do a little bit more. Morphine is the trick, I'm here to tell you. Morphine will clear you right up. All right, so I went to the emergency room on, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that. When I woke up in the afternoon, went to the emergency room. And, from there, they were like, hey, you got kidney stones. They did like the sonograms and stuff like this. And they did all the tests, and they with all the symptoms you have, it's pretty obvious you got some kidney stones. We see them, and they're about this size, and blah blah blah. You're gonna have to let them pass, all right? They say basically they're gonna come out your. I don't know what term to use. What's politically correct or not politically correct, but just feasible on YouTube. They just come out your pee hole, basically. I don't know if that's honestly. I don't know a better way to put that. You're gonna pass them through your urine. I don't know what's the best way to put that, but that's what you're going to do. And everybody knows who's been through that situation. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be painful. All right. You're going to look forward to more pain happening. And so I was down for that. I was like, dude, this is bad pain in my kidney and my lower back. I mean, you'll really want to die. All right. And you don't want to admit that to the people at the hospital because they will ask you if you've ever wanted to die. And technically, yeah, just 5 minutes ago, you wanted to die because it's that bad of pain in your kidney. It really will have you contemplating it. Although, if you have any constitution, obviously you want to kill yourself, but you will think the thought. You will be like, oh man, would it be that bad? You'll think about, oh man. You're like, what are my options here? All right. But you probably won't do it. Even if you owned a gun and stuff, it's not like you really, but you're going to think about it. If anything, go to the hospital. Do not talk yourself out of it. You need to go. All right. And it's going to probably cost you some money. That's terrible. It's going to cost me some money, I know it. But so I went to the emergency room. They say you're going to have to pass it. We'll give you some medication to pass it. We'll give you some antibiotics. We'll give you some painkillers. And you're going to have to ride this one out on your own at your own place by yourself, right? And so I do that. And the next day, it's a Sunday, and everything's all right. It's all cleared up. I don't even feel nothing. All right, so I'm like, okay, well, eventually it's going to come out my pee hole like these people were talking about. And so I got to look forward to that kind of pain. All right, whatever. We're going to cross that bridge when we come to it. All right. So it's like, oh, let's do it. But nothing happened. And then on that Monday, all right, same episode all over again. Pretty much the same way. I woke up with that pain in my back, and I was like, oh no, not this again. Not this. And I took some painkillers, and I took some antibiotics, and I just took everything I had. I was like, oh man, not this again. And then it happened again. All right. And that's when I learned tramadols mean nothing at all. And so it happened again. Excruciating pain. Wanted to die. The whole nine. again for the second time. And I went to the emergency room again. And on the second time, obviously, you're trying to talk yourself out of going to the emergency room. You already know what they're going to do when you get there. And so, for hours and hours and hours, wanted to die, rolling around on the ground. And eventually, what I had to do on the second time is I had to wait till the morning time. Pretty much, okay, the attack started at the beginning of the evening, or not, pretty much at 10 o'clock at night is when the attack started, 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And it carried on through the rest of the night where I was just rolling around in pain because I knew I couldn't call nobody. And I wasn't about to call the ambulance to come get me. So I waited till the morning in excruciating pain. Went to the emergency room eventually when people woke up, could give me a ride to the emergency room. And I went again. I went again to the emergency room. And they pretty much did the same thing. Except this time, they gave me better painkillers. God bless them. I gotta give them credit because they did. They were what's called Tylenol 3s, which are Tylenols mixed with hydrocodone and probably other stuff. Who knows? All right, just for a second, I want to see about Matrix Mark. He's saying a friend of mine had one recently. I wonder what's his testimonial like. He had been in a near fatal car accident, but he said a kidney stone was worse pain than his car crash. See, that's what's interesting. It really is. It'll make you wonder. You'll be like, is it really? You'll start to wonder, how bad is a gunshot? How bad is a gunshot really? Because it's just long and sustained, and there is no pause from it. It's just pain, continuously getting worse and worse. That's the thing about gunshots. I know full well there's different ways to get hit by a gunshot, and your body's gonna react certain ways. Lots of times, people, their adrenaline kicks in. They don't even hardly feel it. Like sometimes people get stabbed and they think they got punched. I've heard that a million times. Or sometimes people get shot and they're like, oh, I didn't even realize I got shot at first. It's kind of how your body works. And then, of course, you're going to feel just unbelievable pain. That's for sure. But I got to imagine with that kind of blunt pain, that kind of sharp, direct action to your body and stuff, I would have to imagine at a certain point your adrenaline would be kicking in. And either you're going to pass out from the pain and become unconscious, or the pain is you're going to be able to deal with it. Like, for example, there's many people have been shot in the neck and driven themselves to the hospital. Like, the pain is bad, but they're able to get to the hospital, all right? They're able to do that. Driving with a kidney stone flare-up, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to do that. Driving with getting a bullet hole in the neck, yeah, you could do it. I've heard of people doing that. And so it's interesting to think about the types of pain. Let's see if there's anything. It's I had kidney stone. Dang, Paul, it's okay. It's because I noticed I've been talking to people around town. I'm bringing it up where I've been for the past few days. And I've talked about kidney stones. And a lot of people, it's not a rare thing. And it is a life-changing thing. It might have you thinking about stuff. Paul, it's okay, said, I had kidney stones. Wow, that is the worst pain for a guy. That's what they say. And I've heard they say you could compare it to actually giving birth, that kind of pain. For all the ladies out there, trust me, I give you credit. Obviously, I've been at a childbirth, all right? It looks unbelievable. And I didn't see it directly, but I saw it. I was at a good angle to where I saw the baby pop out, right? But, but that's what they compare it to. If you're going to compare it to something, that's how bad it is. And you know what's interesting is typically, and it comes in different sizes, but mine, for example, were not very big, right? And like I was mentioning, and you could cross-reference all this. Go on Google right now. Potassium-rich vegetables will get you, and it'll get you those kidney stones. Those are because like I was talking about, you got beets. These are the types of things they named off on Google, and that's exactly what I was eating. I was eating all the wrong things all at the same time. I was eating beets, I was eating carrots, I was eating broccoli, I was eating avocados, I was eating bananas. All these things are the top most potassium-rich foods that you can find. And I was eating all those things pretty much exclusively. And I was eating meat. I had some meat too, but that's just protein. And they'll know that, if you add protein, that'll also contribute to kidney stones as well. If you were to have too much protein, that is. Um, so the perfect storm is what I brewed for myself. And so, like I was saying, I went to the emergency room that second time, right? They gave me better painkillers, those Tylenol 3s, and those do something. But here's the thing, they also make you nauseous. A lot of people might know. And that became a problem for me. It was like a double whammy, an extreme pain, just unbelievable pain in my lower left back, and also extreme, unbelievable nauseousness. And there's actually something to that. It's very insightful that people might not have heard before. Like, say, if you don't want to develop kidney stones, anybody will tell you, go ahead and drink water regularly, which I do. I do I do an absurd amount of drinking water, all right? Just because I don't know why. I've always done it. I've been very thirsty. Not very thirsty, but I just like drinking water, all right? But that's one thing to do to prevent kidney stones. What I didn't actually realize, and I came to realize upon my third time going to the emergency room, and there is a third time. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But what I didn't realize until my actual third visit to the emergency room is that, okay, if you're having a kidney stone flare up, if you're in that stage, and you'll know that you're about to experience it, um, one thing to remember is, and probably the most important thing to remember is, do not drink water at all. Not a drop, if you can. If it's possible, not a drop. Because what is happening when you're having these flare-ups is the stone itself is not actually the one that's causing the extreme pain on the inside of you. It's just causing the inflammation reaction. And that inflammation reaction itself is what's causing the just excruciating pain. And that, it consists of, obviously, inflammation. Everything swells up, and it creates a blockage of some sort. And this was explained to me on the third emergency room visit. So during my second and my first flare up, you can imagine the whole time I'm rolling around on the ground, just desperate pain, just trying not to make loud noises, basically, and drinking as much water as I could muster, like as much as I could, thinking, well, if I drink more water, it'll pass this stone, which I need to get the help out of me because it's about time. Meanwhile, it might sound logical, but it's actually not. It's the worst thing that you could want to do. To don't drink no kind of water because it's all blocked up. So you drink more water, that's just more water that is blocked up and has nowhere to go. And you become severely nauseous, right? So I wound up experiencing that whole process 3 times, separate times. And it's crazy. It's like between the second and the third time was actually days apart. Like, I don't remember, like 3 or 4 days apart. So there's all that whole time in between where I thought, oh man, maybe I'm over this. Maybe there's nothing to worry about here. Maybe I've conquered this particular disease. But in fact, no, it just came back. All right, you got to get rid of it. All right, so just to finish up this story, it's all fairly exciting in that different senses, but just to kind of wrap it up, okay, it's my third visit. I decided, oh man, I can't even believe it. I had to call my dad up and be like, dude, I at the hospital now, right? There's no arguing this. And he's like, all right, so he came over and he's going to give me a ride and stuff. And he's thinking kind of like how I was thinking, like, he brought me over some other pills. You know how dads do or old people do. Older people, they got all these prescription pills. Like, you already know, like, with these old people. And so he's like, man, you got to try these. Just make sure so we don't just go and keep racking up these medical bills. Obviously, you don't want that. And I was like, okay. So I popped all those pills before we left to the emergency room for the third time. And I popped all those pills, and I was like, okay, let me roll around on the ground for a little while, see if it kicks in, and see if we're working with something. Didn't work at all. Not at all. I just rolled around on the ground for about 30 minutes. And then they were like, you know what, let's get up out of here and go to the hospital. And they took me again for the third time. All right. And it's upon that time that they realized, you know what, This stone here, it's not even passing. It's not very big, but it's not passing. It's stuck there. For whatever reason, it's stuck. It's not moving. And it's gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again. And unfortunately, you gotta look forward to this over and over again every few days, right? So you're not gonna want to do that. So we're just gonna have to resort to drastic intervention, basically, right? This is where we get into the surgery. It's taken a couple of days, and I've been in and out of it. There was a minor surgery. I don't know how much detail I want to get into or how much is allowable on YouTube, right? Some people might be familiar out there. Holler if you hear me in the comments. I'll take a look in the comments if you're familiar with the surgical procedures. If in fact you had to go in and get that sucker out because it's not passing itself. There's surgical interventions that you could do, all right? And, it's just like the medical field is, well into the future, man. They're doing futuristic things. I got to give credit where credit is due. And actually, San Antonio itself is known for a lot of things. The military, this and that. And actually, our medical center, too. Like, a lot of people come from all around, come to San Antonio's medical centers. And different, like, I didn't actually go to the medical center, but, there's a hospital, and they're pretty good, man. I gotta say, man, they treated me right. These people took care of me, even though, like, I had to come back and keep coming back because they didn't solve my problem. I don't blame them for not, because obviously you wouldn't want to jump to surgery, and they didn't want to jump to surgery. They just wanted to let it pass. But on my third event, they were like, dude, it's not going to pass, obviously. So we might want to deal with this. Might want to think about surgical intervention. And at that point, having gone through that about 3 times, I was like, yeah, do whatever the hell you have to do. Please do it. For sure. And so that's what we did, all right? And like I said, I don't know how familiar y'all are. Hey, holler if you hear me. They put that chip in you, bro. Oh, man. That's a fair trade. If you ever, like, felt this pain, dang, it's nuts to think that you sold your whole soul and stuff in the mark of the beast and to the Illuminati and stuff. It's nice to think that you would, but it's like, it's almost a fair trade. Almost, in that particular moment, if a Nazi were to come up and be like, "Oh, we could take that out of you, but we're gonna leave this chip. Chip's not gonna hurt you. Don't you worry about the chip. You don't got a problem." I don't know. I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it, but I would consider it strongly, and then I'd run away or something. I'd be like, "Oh, these Nazis run this hospital. Take me to a non-Nazi hospital where they're not gonna chip me. They might have chipped me." Used to say, but the thing is, it's very delicate. You know what I mean? Like, it comes to find out with these stones, sometimes they're not even that big at all. Like, they're not big. So as far as this chip goes, any sort of size chip would probably irritate the crap out of your kidney. You could probably hide it in you somewhere in there, but not on the kidney. That's too sensitive to, like, those outside foreign objects. Way too sensitive. You might be able to stick it in somewhere else, or maybe they did. I wouldn't put it past them. It was an interesting experience in which I would not be at all surprised if they were capable of it. Here, I'm going to describe what they did, all right? Some people might want to, like, turn the volume down, I guess, because if it gets kind of graphic, I'm trying not to get too graphic, but just to give you an idea so that you know what you have to look forward to if indeed you're going down this road. Okay, surgical intervention. They say, we got a plan A, all right? And they described it to me. And they said also, it might not work, man. Lots of times, plan A, it works and just fine, and we get in and out, and we do plan A. That's what we do. Shout out to all the people that's listening to this story. I appreciate you. That's why I haven't been here, like, for a few days. Plus, I want to get the hell up off of YouTube. All right, we're gonna do that before long and stuff. And I got my ways. And I want to holler at especially Bart Fine. Every time, dude. I hope I mention Bart Fine on every live stream that I ever do. And, the things that he's doing is wild. I see it. It's amazing. I can't even believe it. I've been putting off hollering at him on Facebook, just to be quite honest, because I don't like Facebook. But it's like I did download the Messenger app. If that is indeed going to help us, I'm going to search him out probably this evening on Facebook. I don't like getting on Facebook at all. But if that's how we got to do it, all right. So, but this surgical procedure, they were like, okay, we got a plan A. And they described it to me. And I'm going to describe it to you in a second. And then they're like, also we got a plan B and a plan C, man. Because like if that doesn't work, we need to get out of you somehow. We need to do something. If that doesn't work, oh man, we still need to do something because you can't keep doing this. And I agreed. I said, this sounds reasonable. All right, and hopefully we just go with plan A. Because plan B and C sound a little bit worse. Okay, for example, like plan B, and then it's like a slight variation of B plan C, but basically plan B is they cut me open in a surgical way with a knife or what, I don't know, and stick some tube in me. And they said, if we were to have to do that, it's just called putting a stent for your kidney. They're like, if we have to do that, that's pretty much going to be in you for like a week or something, or like at least a few days. This stent, and then we're going to have to go back in and try and get the stone again. If for some reason we can't get it on the first try, we're going to have to cut you open, right, and put a stent and leave it in there for a while, and you're going to have to deal with that. And they explain that, well, if we do that, a lot of people think that that's even worse than the kidney stone itself. And I was like, yeah, that sounds worse. And they're like, yeah, it pretty much is worse. They're like, hopefully we don't have to do that. There's other things that we could do. There's various things that they described to me, but this is what they wound up doing, which was plan A. And it actually was just successful. It went exactly as planned, all right? And just to give you an idea of the technology involved, like I said, it's kind of detailed, so don't say I didn't warn you, but okay. All right, they stick a camera, and everything that I'm talking about takes place directly through my pee hole. Everything. This is a surgical operation. This is minor surgery going on. Every last thing through my pee hole. I gotta say, I never got cut once. I'm not cut at all throughout this surgery. Goes through my pee hole. This camera, right? And basically the process is they go in there with the camera and they look around. This is all while I'm unconscious for sure. To be honest, I mean, obviously they rolled me in. They had a team of people around me in the OR. All these kind of like dudes, maybe like my age or younger, just around me, just like it's say a cockpit at NASCAR, or not a cockpit, but one of those pits where they, you know what I'm saying, and during NASCAR with all the crew. So they're doing that, and then they knock me the hell out, and they don't have me count back or nothing. I was just knocked the hell out, dude. They know how to knock people out. So they did that quick, fast, and then they did everything through the pee hole, right? Stuck a camera up there to see where exactly it was, to see if they could get positions on it, to see if they can get a good angle on it. They then stuck somehow, I don't know how they did it exactly, but managed to go through the pee hole and stick a laser through there. And I imagine, but although I can't be sure, that they stuck some sort of device that had a laser at the end of it, all the way up there, up to the kidney region. And they took the kidney stone, which, I guess is too big or whatever. They had to cut it, say, in half. And they probably had to detach it. Maybe it was stuck on you know what I'm saying? They had to do these sort of things with a laser. And that's what they do. They stick a laser up there, they chop it up, and they kind of slice it off or whatever. And then they grab it and pull it back down through the pee hole. And hopefully they can do that successfully so that you don't get cut. And they did. They did that successfully so that I didn't get cut. And I woke up obviously feeling a different kind of way. It's interesting, man. Actually, the first thought that I had when I woke up was I was going to tell them, oh, you guys, I'm awake. Like, oh, no, right? I shouldn't be awake, right? I was about to say, hey, I'm awake. And they were like, yeah, we know you're awake. You've been out. It's like, you've just been sleeping there for a long time. And I was like, oh, damn, dude. I was like, oh, is this done? They're like, hey, yeah, you're done. We're perfect. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's wonderful. And so, it's a wonderful experience. And it wasn't a wonderful experience, but it, worked out the best way, as far as professionals. They got the job done. All right, I got to give them credit. They're probably going to charge me to who knows how much amount of money. I do have insurance, but who's to say? They might still, who's to say with insurance? We'll find out just how good my insurance is shortly. Well, I got to start thinking about a second job, but I'm not going to talk about that right now exactly. But I do have to, starting this year, I will say we've been having, gosh, man, if you compare San Antonio's winter to everybody say in America, because I know in like Australia and Tasmania and stuff, like, so, it's like summertime, right? So that's different. Like over here, it's winter. Lots of places, especially across the northern states, like going from west to east, from what I understand, a lot of snow, just like crazy snowfall, reaching like bizarre, like just to us like crazy, unheard of temperatures. Just what I'm saying. Sometimes trapped in snow and stuff in certain parts of the country, it's wild. In San Antonio, I don't mean to be jinxing everybody, and Lord knows there's still more winter to come. Obviously, we're just in January. But dang, dude, our winter has been unbelievably mild. Like, unbelievably just wonderful. Like, right now, for example, I got the back door open. And, it's no problem. Like, if I had to describe it, it'd be like late spring to anybody else in the world, is what it feels like right now, in the dead of winter here in San Antonio. All right, well, it's just to say that's what I mean to get my second business in, man. I'll tell y'all about it later. My ideas, my plans for working outside, getting that money, doing things that people don't like typically like doing, landscaping and this and that, blah blah blah. Just getting money. All right, plan to do that. And it's so good of a winter to do it. All right, we've been very fortunate in that sense. Like global warming it's really just been all concentrated in San Antonio or something like that. It's been a wonderful, wonderful winter. Paul's okay said in through the pee hole. He says that sounds painful, man. Yeah, I bet you it is. I'm sure it is. And that's why they knock you the hell out. Like, there ain't no way they're gonna go up through your pee hole while you're awake. It's not gonna happen. And so everybody knows it. So it makes you wonder, like, I'm sure there's been points in history, mainly in the Civil War and stuff, when like people have had to put catheters and stuff, and people do it these days, put catheters and stuff, and put all sort of stuff in there. It's like, dude, I had to be knocked out cold, and they didn't even give me no option. They were like, dude, we're gonna knock you out cold. There's no way we're gonna do this while you're awake. So yeah, I'm sure it is bad, but here's the thing. I forgot to mention the aftermath. It's actually been a few days. My minor surgery was actually on Wednesday, right? So we're on Saturday evening now. There is recovery time, right? For example, it's gonna be a burning sensation. It's gonna feel like somebody's gone all up inside your pee hole with certain objects, and to include lasers and cameras. That's what it's gonna feel like pretty much when you're peeing. Not excruciating, to be honest. It's not comfortable. It doesn't feel great, but it's like whatever. It's not a big deal. So as far as recovery, that was pretty dang good. But you still had to take antibiotics and this and that and painkillers. You're not out of the weeds. After the surgery, you're gonna feel all good because they got you on all sort of painkillers and anesthesia. You're gonna feel on top of the world. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna feel very good the next morning, which is what happened with myself. The next morning, I actually slept because I was in excruciating pain. I took all sort of painkillers and antibiotics, and I slept the entire day. Or no, I writhed in pain for a couple of hours, severely nauseous because of all the different reactions happening, all the different chemicals in my body. And I passed out through pain and nausea for the entirety of the day and throughout the night. And all of Thursday did not even occur for me. In fact, on Friday, when I was recovering a little bit better and I didn't feel so messed up, and I actually got up, I recall thinking that it was Thursday. Like, I didn't realize Thursday happened. Like, I blacked it out. I blacked out Thursday. And, other than that, I've been coming along. I have been experiencing, like, I think now I can say I am out of the weeds, probably. And I got to stay up with these antibiotics. I got to take one pretty much right now, for example. And I'm going to do it. I'm not going to play around. I want this thing dead. Whatever's inside me that makes my kidney do that, I want it dead. So I'm for antibiotics. I am not an antibioticer. I agree with the science of antibiotics. I felt it for myself. And that being said, I also agree with probiotics. There's so much about nutrition to learn, all right? Especially as individuals, we're all going to be different. We're not all going to eat the same exact things, but there's certain things, tips that we can share with each other that can get us not in the hospital wanting to, end it all, right? We're going to talk about that probably, as we go on, as we go down this journey. So we watch all the wild stuff going on. All right, how about this? We did all that story time stuff. If anybody's got some more stuff about the kidney stones or stories that they, could share, that's exactly what we want right now. All right. So you came to the right place. We want to hear about it. The bizarre stuff that can happen through your pee hole today. All right. You're not immune from it. None of us. Not even the ladies. They got pee holes too. I've talked to ladies who had the same thing. And it's not going to feel any better. Apollo's okay said, I wish America had an NHS like the UK. We're going to need a little bit of elaboration, Paul. Just because I'm not sure what that is. NHS. I can't remember what exactly that stands for. But perhaps we could easily say, I wish America. So Paul is in America. Or either that or he wishes for America. They would get that NHS. Now, it could be a good thing. Who's to say? But it's good that we talk about that right now while we get a chance. All right? Because I know I haven't brought that up. But I'm sure, I probably heard about it. I probably know what you're talking about. All right? So we're going to get down to the bottom of it. Right now, we're looking at random stuff. Ricky Gervais, whatever. We already seen that. Let's just run through the rest of these right quick. Tucker Carlson is not your new best friend. That's bizarre, right? That's bizarre. I did a screenshot of that. People are finding one final image, a deceased loved one, thanks to Google Maps. That's creepy and weird. Study vitamin supplements may harm breast cancer. A treatment. It's terrible. I don't know. You know what I was gonna say? I think why I looked at that is because you'll notice, and Alex Jones put me out of this a long time ago, but you will notice that every January, like clockwork, every January you're gonna notice an influx of people saying vitamins don't work, you shouldn't take vitamins, they're bad for you. Vitamins are basically poison. You'll get all sort of vitamin propaganda, anti-vitamin propaganda, period. And you'll notice it specifically in January, and you'll wonder why. Why in January specifically? Why does that make sense? And it's because it's basically the winter for America, right? When people should really, really definitely consider taking vitamins, in the winter, they want to discourage it through propaganda. And that's why I took a picture. You'll notice it like clockwork every time. A Texas school district lost $2.3 million in a phishing email scam. Police say, and that's unfortunate, but that does happen. It's not extremely rare. This is San Antonio news. Family, please, for this lady. Gosh, it's kind of depressing. I saw that, and I actually didn't know what we were about to look at, but this lady, she went missing. I don't know if they found her. Probably did not. I haven't heard about it. San Antonio police, listen to that. Yeah, screenshots. Takashi and stuff like that. But none of that is really important necessarily. Not for tonight. I just wanted to touch base with y'all and stuff. I don't know how late we're going to make it, alright? Because I don't want to disturb my neighbors very much. With that being said, I don't want to end abruptly, obviously. We're going to wind it down. How about we put 12 more minutes on the board? It is Saturday evening. So, I don't think my neighbors are going to mind about 12 more minutes of a low murmuring that they might hear in the background while they're watching Netflix or something like that. So we wind it down. Might want to get to what people, I don't know if it might have been mentioned up in the comments, or if there's any insight, or if there's any, I'm sure what's really happening, because say in Australia, my theory. Maybe it's very harebrained. Maybe it's a harebrained theory, and that's what I want to know. For example, that's a big issue in the world. There's a lot of different big issues, hot topics. They're discussed all across the world. Big headlines, right? One is for sure the Australia fires, right? A lot of people have been talking about that. I've been, in my own world for a little while, so I haven't kept a close eye on it. I don't know how much they're still talking about it. I don't know if there's been any progress made on the Australian fires, like if they've gotten them under control somewhat. Or no, if it's anything like California. If it's anything like it, that carried on and on and on and on. Like, you put the fire out, but you're going to do it for a long, long time. And I want to know. We could Google it right now to see what's the latest breaking news, but you could just assume that Google's lying, basically. All right, and actually, you know what? Now that we're on the topic, I know we're looking at Tekashi 69. We're wondering about him. We're actually... The thing is, I wasn't taking a screenshot of Tekashi. We got it. But I was actually taking a screenshot of this. Andrew Yang won last night's primary debate without attending it. It's crazy to think that Andrew Yang's not the first person, but he's another person who has literally won these so-called debates by simply not showing up. That's how boring those debates are. And everybody knows it. That's how much of a mockery it is. And it's in front of everybody's face. It's not my theory. It's what these people are talking about. But thought we'd go to Google and ask them about the Australian fires. See what's their insight. And I still want to know about that NHS thing. In fact, you know what? Cut to the chase, because I know sometimes people are, doing this and that, got their hands full. And I should very well know what the NHS is, but I don't. The National Hockey thing? I don't know. Oh man, I'm way late. You're way too late, Brenda. We're winding it down, unfortunately. And that serves you right. Okay, but just to let you know, if you wanted to go back, obviously, see the recording, or if you don't have any time, basically I shared the story, and it was a long story, about my kidney stone journey and saga through the pits of hell, and it's a pain like everybody remembers, and they talk about it like it's a ghost story around the fire, the campfire, like it's scary. It's a bad thing. I have a feeling that Unwrapped by Brenda has, if not experienced it, known people. She's seen that before, and she knows what we're talking about. But yeah, way late, extremely late. But I was talking about that story basically, and it took a long time. So that's the only thing we were talking about, and the Australian fires. And we're about to talk about that before we get on out of here. I want to know about this NHS thing as well. All right. Bar fines up in the house. Like I said, either tonight or in the morning, first thing in the morning, I'm just trying to find that bar fine on Facebook, and I'm gonna message him directly. All right, and he's putting in good work, obviously. But he says this: please watch my video, Democrats killing Trump supporters. Okay, we're gonna do that. That's gonna be the last thing that we do in just a few minutes, and we are gonna do that. But Barfine says, don't let them harvest your kidneys. I certainly hope not. All right, my kidneys are doing some wonderful things for me, and I gotta treat them just as good as they've been treating me. All right, so we're gonna do that, and we're gonna play that video. We're gonna have to do this rapid fire. I want to know about the NHS because Paul has got me on that tip. All right, trust me, I'm listening to what you're saying. I want to know what the hell you're talking about. Invest in Great Britain and Ireland. World-class research to the NHS. The UK is the home of life sciences and things of that nature. I don't know what the heck that is. National Health Service. I don't know what the National Health Service does. I don't know what they do. Uh, but we'll probably get. I don't know what they do, but maybe it's socialized healthcare, right? All right. Yeah, it's you could definitely describe my experience at the hospital as kind of like socialized, like one size fits all, like come in and get this. Yeah, in a sense, good. And, I'm eventually gonna wind up paying for it dearly, right? In that case, sometimes having an NHS might save people a bunch of money in that particular case, right? And do them just fine. In fact, even better, maybe, as far as their kidney stones. And Lord knows, we don't have time to get into it necessarily, but there's a lot to be said for the different various positions on, say, socialized healthcare or universal healthcare or whatever you call it, one-payer healthcare, Obamacare, Hillary care, Trump care, whatever. There's probably a lot of different, and I certainly don't know what's the best way. And I'm not going to necessarily say, I would say free market, but how do you define that necessarily? I do want everybody to get taken care of, obviously. And the America can't pay for everybody in the world to have health care. And nobody around the world expects America to do that, right? Except for some people in our government. They want us to literally do that. And obviously, that is stupid. Should every person be able to get that emergency care that they need and not have to bend over a barrel afterwards, financially speaking? Yeah, everybody should be able to probably get that stuff, man. We need to work our way back to making that happen. For sure, one way or another, right? That being said, Australian fires before we get out of here. And I know I'm speaking in like a soft, sultry voice, but I don't want to make too much noise now because it's so late. But I did want to see how it's going. What happens when we type in how do you spell Australia? Type in Australian fires. And what does it say on Google when we do that? We're going to find out real quick, and then we're going to play that video, and we're going to get up out of here. All right. I appreciate everybody. We were here way too late. It was spontaneous. I couldn't believe the reaction that I got. Let's go to the news. Did it rain in Australia? Heavy rain brings flash floods to parts of eastern Australia as bushfires rage on. Australia fires. Heavy rains hit some blaze hit regions. Rain pelts fire ravaged Australia. So they're copying and pasting like they always do. Talking about the same exact thing, using the same exact words. But you got right fire for right future. How cultural burning can protect Australia from catastrophic blazes. Now, we'll end on that headline right there. That is the headline that is so completely simple, and it's been said over and 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 over, pretty much since the beginning of written history. Have people been they figured that out a long time ago, and that's why they've been doing it since anybody can remember. And yet still, nowadays, they're like, we shouldn't do this because we're destroying the environment. We gotta save the animals. Why not doing what we've always done throughout the history of humankind? And we didn't stop doing that because we're killing the environment. And then you have all these blazing out of control wildfires in California, in Australia, in certain places. Isn't it so convenient? And then certain people come up and buy that land for cheap, maybe. I don't know. Is that how it goes? What country? Chinese country? I don't know. Are we racist against Chinese people? No, we're not. Let me ask that question. Here's the thing. Gotta go back to the comments. There's one more video, like we promised. Hopefully it's not too long, but I want to see it as well. Bart Fine says, I am live streaming your live stream. Dang, if only I could live stream your live stream. That'd be awesome. And maybe we could. Oh no. We'd probably enter like a totally different dimension if we did. Honestly, I think we could try to do it right now. Like I could I could try to live stream your live stream. But man, see, right? Okay, that's me. That's me doing a live stream. I don't know. Let's see if I refresh it, if it'll have Bart Vine doing my live stream. I don't know. That's me. YouTube, you don't know what the heck I'm trying to do. Here. What if I tap this 2 times? See, look. So, but if I push this, it might create some sort of wild echo that just keeps going and going and going, because I'd be watching myself saying the thing that I've been saying. Does anybody want to see that? Does anybody want to see if we can pull that off? You can if you have a second phone. I have no second phone. I know Barfine's walling out with all sort of second phones, but I certainly don't have one. Let's see what happens if I push this. Man, because like if I say words, it's gonna say words at me as well. Nah, hell no. It's not working. And I don't even want it to work because it's about to blow my mind. But there was another video that we were going to see before we get out of here. And I'm sure some people skipped to it and probably already seen it. But Unwrapped by Brenda said, ow. Said, I've been wondering how you're doing. Glad to see you're here and sound good. Well, I'm kind of whispering. We're about to get out of here. Thank you. That sounds good, but I wanted to touch base with y'all here, but I want to especially get the hell up off of YouTube. I might only come here to like say random stuff, and if y'all are gonna be here, but mainly forget YouTube, and it sucks. And I'm going to D-Live, all right? So you know that's where I'm gonna do the actual good content. Is we're on D-Live, and forget YouTube. But I might holler at y'all because I know y'all on YouTube. Okay. Says I'm good. I'm getting off of YouTube, alright? Unwrapped by Brenda. So we're about to crash YouTube. Okay, but what was the video that we're supposed to play? Okay? That's what I want to know. I can't go to the live stream. I need to find out. Here, click your face. I'm gonna click your Hillary face. Right? And it says, what's the name of the video? Democrats killing Trump supporters. We're gonna end on that note, you guys. I appreciate everybody. My chin hurts from talking so much all night. And I appreciate y'all. We're going to end on this note. Democrats killing Donald Trump. Where is it at? Alright? Yeah, I don't know if it's on this channel or not. But, at the same time, oh, there we go. I thought for a second that we wouldn't get to it, y'all. But here it is. And I appreciate everybody. And you'll find me. I'll make sure you can find me. Even if I go to D-Live, I'll come up here and I'll be like, hey, y'all missed everything. It's on D-Live. And I'll give you a link or something like that. In the meantime, we're all getting banned. It's shocking that we haven't already gotten banned. And perhaps Chinese communists, the Chi-Com elements out there are the ones doing it. Maybe they're the ones behind it. And they're using YouTube. And they're pulling their little puppet strings. And I don't know. We'll find out. Anyways, I appreciate all y'all. Here's that last video. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny that you titled it, but... An elephant can easily kill you, Some people tend to forget that.